Hello everybody, Brad Johnson here, and in this video I'm going to be doing something very unique that I have not done before. It's known as Empathic Interfacing, and I'm going to be doing Empathic Interfacing with a being from the Inner Earth Agarthan kingdom. And so this being is part of a human society that exists within the inner earth. And they have connected with me simply because a couple of nights ago I was doing some remote viewing, or as I call it, spiral akashic viewing. And I wanted to look more into the inner earth. And so as I looked into the inner earth, I saw like a big, gigantic, beautiful crystal vault, like these glowing crystals. I then encountered a race, and they looked kind of like your typical albino race in that way. They have very pale white skin, white hair, pale red eyes as well. Their uniform that they wear is completely white, but they have kind of like a silver chain medallion with a blue crystal in it. And they refer to themselves as the Delphi. And the Delphi would represent a monument, an ancient ruin that's contained inside Greece. And that's basically kind of a, not really a metaphor, but that's kind of a symbology in a way about what they represent. They represent a particular group of oracles. And there is a liaison that is connecting on their behalf to communicate with me today. And he goes by the name of Nefer Titus. Now, some people have been confused and saying, isn't this Nefertiti from Egypt, the Egyptian queen? And said, no, it's not. It's a male, and he goes by the name Nefer Titus. And the reason is because I've looked up both of those words, Nefer and Titus. Nefer would represent that of pleasant, or good, or will, or beautiful in that way. Titus, basically in its Latin term, didn't really have a distinguishable term to it, but it basically was seen as like a title of honor, right? So like an honorable good person, or an honorable pleasant person, an honorable person of goodwill in that way. And that's what Nefer Titus represents. So I was attempting to connect with him yesterday, but I was just extremely fatigued. I was just like completely burnt out. I did a very big channeling workshop on the weekend, and I think it was quite a few other factors as well too. And I was just hit with this overwhelming fatigue, and I just was not able to interface with him yesterday. But here I am today, and I have connected with Nefer Titus, and it feels like there have been some things that he wants to share, some very important things, as it relates to the Agarthans in that particular way, perhaps even relating to our society. So I'm going to let Nefer Titus do the sharing here. So basically how it's going to work is I'm not going into a channeling state. This is not channeling. This is, again, empathic interfacing. It's more like a type of mediumship in that type of way, or basically like a telepathic relay. And I'm basically just receiving his feelings while I'm tapping into him and just being the interpreter as best I can in my own conscious state. So there's not a need to channel him in that way, the way I would channel Adronis. It's much different with him. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and bring Nefer Titus through, and we'll just see what he has to say. Here we go. All right, Nefer Titus is saying hello. He's doing like an interesting kind of mudra right now. So he's basically just doing the index finger, thumb mudra, like this, okay? And I'm basically seeing him in a kind of like white light astral realm right now. He's just kind of preparing himself. He's getting himself into the alignment as well to interface together with me. Okay, and he's saying, we wish to talk to you today as you would understand the nature of the inner beings that live here. We have been a part of your society for a great deal of time. There have been those that have been exiled, you could say, from the inner earth and have come up to the surface. Some of them were basically meant to live within more of a secluded, hermit-like lifestyle. But some of them have actually come upon your surface, and they have bred with humans. And that's definitely not something that is supposed to happen. But these beings are still making contact with the inner civilizations, because they realize that there are times coming ahead, and there is going to be a shared component. We're going to be sharing both the surface and the inner earth together in the next little while. If we have an idea about when that next little while might be, Nefer Titus? Within the next few years. Some people are going to be invited into the inner earth. First, they're going to come in astrally. So they will have their etheric body prepared in that way. And there will be the opportunity for physical visitations to take place inside the inner earth. But the surface and the inner earth will be shared in the next few years, bits at a time. So not everybody at once is going to be there, but there are going to be people who are invited, certain groups that are invited, that will go into the inner earth. And it kind of feels like there's a habitat that's looking to be created, an actual area, space that's actually going to be reserved for humanity, that will allow them to have their own space within the earth. And this would almost be like a type of republic in that way, that there would be an opportunity for other beings who would like to come in and connect with them to actually go to this habitat. So it's almost like a gigantic vault, basically seeing a human city inside the inner earth. And that will be part of the beginning times of conversation between human race and the Agarthan. So that's kind of what he's giving here. Okay, he's basically now referring to the Anshar. Okay, the person known as Corey Good has talked about the Anshar. Okay, now, the Anshar is not the name of the civilization. There is no civilization here called the Anshar. The Anshar is a name of an organization. It's a secret society, if you could put it in that particular terms. It's basically an esoteric order where there are specific members of different Agarthan races that are a part of it. So it's basically almost like a type of religion in that way. Now the Delphi, again, the beings that represent like the albino-like race, they refer to themselves as the Delphi because they are a group of oracles, and they work within the sect of the Anshar in that way. So they are part of it, but they're letting people know this is not an actual civilization's name. It's not the idea of the actual race's name. It's just a group. It's just an organization. It's just an esoteric order in that way. And there are others within that order that are willing to work with humanity, and there are those who are not. And basically those who are not are basically going to go their own ways or continue their own affairs through the work of what's happening inside the earth right now, from what Nefer Titus here is explaining. He says, we do look forward to meeting many of you, because many of you will actually be getting in touch with our race. We're contacting Brad today because we're one of the races that are actually very happy to meet you. And so basically you're going to communicate with our race. We are going to be choosing other representatives to speak in this form, giving you a little bit of an education about our people, giving more of an education about the inner earth. Okay? One moment. Sharing how we can coexist together, how we can live together. And I think I would ask Nefer Titus right now, Nefer Titus. Why has it taken this long? Why has it taken this long for the Agarthan race to reach out to humans? There needed to be a consensus. There needed to be a mutual agreement from many parties, a majority vote, as it were. and that we could not prematurely interact with humanity, especially with what much that you have been going through. As you're reaching the end of a cycle, entering a new age of being, this is the opportunity that awaits all of us, that awaits us as the Delphi, as the Agarthan network, representing you as the surface-based human beings. And that we all share a relationship. We are all connected to this planet. We're both earthlings. And so we are connecting together, sharing our love, sharing our invitation to bringing this together. And what can you tell me about the Delphi? Is there a reason why you refer to yourselves as the Delphi? It's because of the oracles. From what he's saying. It's basically that we represent the oracles. Many of our people have been part of your ancient Greek society, ancient Egyptian society, many of your ancient Roman societies as well too. We have actually been, you could say, messengers, contacts, liaisons during those times. And we had met with your kings at that time as they wanted to look into certain levels of technology. Some of that technology was given, some of it was not. But basically, they would call us in, and we would be oracles to them. We would give them predictions, prophecies about what would happen to their world, what would happen to their land, what would happen to their people. We were called in. And so we have had ancient connections with many of your ancient civilizations, again from Greece, from Rome to Egypt. And so the Delphi would represent much in regards to the position that we shared to those that were permitted to go to the surface and share themselves as oracles. And that is what we represent. We are what you would refer to as the oracle group of the inner earth. And so what I would ask Nefer Titus is about what he sees ahead for humanity. What is taking place here? Does he know about this solar flash or the event that's taking place? He's saying yes, the event is very real. There will be solar flashes, a gigantic flash, enormous, basically larger than anything we've seen before. But it's not something to panic about. It will seem like it's just a phenomenon within the skies, but the more that you can stay indoors, it would really be no more different than an eclipse at that time. Basically, just letting yourself be in reflection, letting yourself stay indoors, be inside the connection. But if you decide to venture outside, that's your choice. But there's going to be a lot of change during that time. And I asked, is this what's going to lead us into fourth density? He said, yes, but it'll be a seamless transition. You won't even know you're there. You won't even know. It just, like that. And so basically those that are in third density will still stay in third density operating on a planet. In a way, yes, but they will create a lot of fear out of this situation. So basically they'll create a lot of fear. It wouldn't really relate to the idea of ending of life, but it would depend upon the person in that way. But really, there is a solar flash that is taking place. The event is going to be happening. It's going to be a few years from now. It's not going to be right away. But basically, there is, as you put it, Brad, an orchestration happening, shifting, with certain events taking place, a sequence taking place here. And so that solar event is going to take place. Everything needs to get out into the open. Basically, many of you are looking for the states of liberation through yourselves, and you cannot find liberation from outside of yourself. Everything relating to your collective consciousness that has been hidden from you is going to be revealed. And it's going to take a long time for this to happen. It's not just going to happen within the next couple of years. It's going to span itself out through several decades. Simply because there's so much. There's so much that you have to learn. There's so much that has to be revealed. And basically, it needs to come through a type of shock and awe campaign. That's just how you're able to digest it the most. And you've seen this with a lot of the past revealings of truth that have come together on your world, that these things have shocked you, like your privacy, like your governments that have been spying on you through technology. For some, this was quite obvious, but for many, this was quite a shocker. And now things are being done through the people to realize that they are being much more cautious with their technology, simply because that shock and awe campaign had to come first. And then that's going to help you to move yourself into a much more prepared state. Well, that's what's going to happen with a lot of your disclosure. It's going to be shock and awe campaigns. It's going to reveal itself. It's going to come out. You're going to be shocked. You're going to be angry. You're going to be upset. But that is all part of a natural process to getting yourself into a preparatory mode, into a preparatory state of being. We know many of you don't like to look at that in that way, that you don't want to be shocked into change, but that's basically what happens. This is what needs to happen. This is where humanity is. It needs to be shocked into change. As Brad would say, it would be kicking you in the butt to getting yourself in gear in that way. Well, that's what needs to happen. Okay, well, thank you very much, Nefertitus, for that. Now, Nefertitus, are there others with you within this transmission? He's saying yes, there are others that are here, others in this transmission. Basically, he could refer to them as kin in that way, family. And they are, again, going to be reaching out to many of you. So if you feel compelled to connect with us, you can simply refer to us again as the Delphi. We are, again, the albino-like race, as Brad calls it. And that you can reach out to us. We're very open to connecting with many of you. There are also others within the Anshar that are open to connecting with you. But it feels like a lot of our responsibility is that we are going to be the mediators. So we as the Delphi would be the mediators. But you are more than welcome to connect with us. We are very happy to connect with all of you. We're only here to share with you what we have been told to share. Nothing more. We're happy to work together with you. We're family. But we're here to serve a purpose because we're here to help bring you into organization. And there are going to be those who are selected, those who are going to be connected with the Delphi in this way, because we're going into a preparatory process in inviting in the humans into inner earth. And that's what's going to be happening here shortly. Again, I'm not really making this about myself. But basically Nefertitus has connected with me. So I'm one of these particular contacts that is connecting with him. But basically there's going to be others who can connect to the Delphi. There may be other humanoid or humans within the inner earth that others will be able to connect with as well too. And basically it's important to do it in this way. Don't feel that you are channeling them. It's more so in the idea that it's a direct telepathic contact. It's empathy. It's coming through thought. It's coming through feelings. And it's coming in this way. Yeah, it's basically saying don't channel us the way Brad channels Adronis. It's different. Adronis is very, very different. So he comes through in that way. And that's appropriate. With us, it's a little bit more different. Like Brad said, it would be like a type of mediumship. A telepathic communication in this way. Okay. Now, Nefertitus, is there anything else that you want to share that you feel may be urgent for us to hear right now? We're just giving our love to many of you because we know the difficult times that you're going through right now. And things are going to be really, really tough. You're going to be riding a very big wave. There's going to be a lot more surprises in store, and it's going to shock many of you. There still are a lot of controllers on your planet that are still utilizing brutal technology. I guess you could say brutal technology or harsh technology, that are still attempting to manipulate weather systems, that are still attempting to create seismic events on your planet, that are actually attempting to ignite volcanoes. So the whole idea is that right now you need to bask in the love of your people. Bask in the love of your planet. There's a lot of things that are basically attempting to happen right now that are trying to create more fear than love. And right now, it's shaky ground. You could say that much more of your love is prevailing, but this needs to continue to happen. Don't get complacent. Continue to share love. Continue to educate. Continue to expand. Continue to work with each other. Love each other. Build community. Come together and share your love with each other. You all have important information to share. Each and every single one of you. It's very important that you're putting it out there, that you're putting it together. Work with community, work with each other. A lot of these events are attempting to be averted because there are other human groups that are taking part in preventing these attacks that are attempting to happen. There are going to be attempted false flags. There is also the talk about a hoax alien invasion. They are going to try and play out this card. They have the technology to do that. It doesn't feel likely that it will succeed, but they are going to try. Okay, this is not going to be right away. It's going to be down the road. But they're going to try with this alien invasion card. Don't buy into it. If they do try to get it off the ground, it's fake. It's a hoax. So that is like that's their end game card. That's their trump card. No pun intended. But they will attempt to use that. And it all depends in regards to the love that you put forward on this planet. The more that you are sending out love to each other, that you're cooperating with each other, that you're communicating with each other, you're building communities. And this is what we're going to show you when you come into the inner earth. When you're in the inner earth, it's all about community. It's all about cooperation. It's seeing each other as yourself. I was going to ask Nefer Titus, is it true that you guys are in the fourth density inside? He says, that is correct, yes. Yes, it's something that is, you could say, technologically applied, but it has been this way for a great deal of time. Many eras of time. Many of us have come together from what you would know as your future into your past. And so we know about the events that are actually to come. We understand that all timelines are different, but there is a small divergence as it relates to the timelines that are taking place here, that there are still similarities. And so we have learned a lot from our brethren from the future that have come together in the past. The past is the future is the past. But yes, we exist within what you would know as the fourth density. We have, again, what you would know as other oracles that have come here and shared exactly what has happened to humanity, all as an attempt to avert disasters. It is a bit of a long story that we could tell, and it's very paradoxical and somewhat contradictory to even understand. Basically, the reason why there were our brethren that came here from the future to come back from what you would know as the very beginning times of the earth is because the earth is eventually taken over. It leads to a very grand state of tyranny that spreads all across the galaxy. Basically, an empire of slavery. Humanity nearly destroys itself, and those that survive are very much into domination, into dominance. Nuclear war again ravaged the planet. And those that survived were basically a part of this control agenda. And so basically there were decisions made for beings to come from that time to come back here and to change things. And these are what you would refer to as the Anshar, the Agarthan network, the oracles. And so they have come back at this time to educate the people to where we are right now. And from that millions of years of time, we have become educated in those ways. And this is why there have been certain Agarthans that have been very hesitant in connecting with humanity, because we were all raised in regards to what humanity would do. We were very much aware of your future. We were very much aware of the road that you were going to go down, and we were proven right. And as much as we wanted to help you, we couldn't help but realize that we felt that if we did, it would mean the end of our race as well, because humanity desired that aspect of power. They allowed themselves to be controlled. They allowed themselves to be manipulated. It also goes down to the feeling that there are many within the Agarthan network that are purists, and they do not believe in wanting to associate with a civilization that has mixed genetics of different extraterrestrial races. They would consider those particular beings abominations. We certainly do not feel that way, but there are certain people within the inner earth that do feel that way, that have no interest in working with humanity. In being blunt, you basically disgust them in the best way that we could put it. We say that kind of humorously, but it is the truth. But we want you to know that not all of the Agarthans feel that way about you. It took us a while to realize that we required each other. We were very much complacent ourselves through our own lives. And when all these events were happening, it was a wake-up call for ourselves as well. For we live a very fruitful life. We're very prolific, agricultural. There are no wars between our people, between our own civilization as the Delphi. We have lived in peace for a very long time. And we are not about war. We do not raise our hands in anger. We do not look to control anybody. That's not within our nature to do that. But again, there have been those who we have met who have done that, and we can understand those people that do that. Why would you want to control things like that? There were indeed other members of the Anshar that would basically create these campaigns that would deceive many of you, that would give you impressions that you are communicating with higher dimensional beings or even communicating with your higher self. Simply because it was all means of a control. It was basically to lighten you up with light so that you wouldn't look at other things around you. It was basically a part of a control agenda. So there are those in that sense who have followed some of the earth government's ways of attempting to create these deceptions. Not everybody was at victimization in that sense with this routine, but some were. And it was all part and parcel in that sense of those who did not want to involve themselves with humanity. And that deals were struck that if you did not want to involve yourself with humanity, help us with this agenda. And so certain volunteers decided to do that. We certainly did not, because that's not what we would ever do. And so we're just giving you a brief outlook in regards to what has happened. We are very happy that when the time comes, that we would like to share with you our world. And we know the time will come where we may, some of us, come to the surface again and see your world as well. But this is what we're planning to do right now, is creating a habitat, an area of space, a vault. The first human city that would be within Agartha. And that is an invitation. This is, again, going to play itself out over time. But look forward to our contacts as we look forward to communicating with you ahead as time permits. So we will go ahead and conclude this transmission now. I want to thank you very much, Nefer Titus. Love to you, beautiful being. Love to you and the Delphi. Namaste. Okay. That was wild. So that's a very, very different feeling that I get when I'm channeling Adronis. It's different because Adronis is a little bit different. He's not, it's not about him saying, are you ready yet? Are you ready yet? Are you ready to connect? Because I actually got that last night with Nefer Titus. He was like, oh, Brad, are you ready? Are you going to connect, or what's happening? I said, I'm too burnt out today. Tonight, man, I gotta wait till tomorrow. I was like, all right, very well, right? Adronis is not like that. It's basically, I just call upon him, he comes through and saying, yeah, how can I help you? What would you like, right? With Nefer Titus, it's a little bit more different. You know, we're sharing the same space on the same planet, so there's some different outlooks with this. Some very exciting information about the Delphi. I am actually working with someone right now who's looking to do a conceptual interpretation of what Nefertitus looks like, and again, with what much of the Delphi can look like as well too, and that they are available to a lot of us. So they're basically one of the very first group consciousnesses that are open to working together with humanity in that way. So it's very, very exciting. But a lot of the information I was receiving from Nefertitus definitely clicks a great resonance with me. I can't make that anybody else feel that, but it certainly feels very, very strong with me. I talked to Adronis last night about Nefertitus. He says, just talk to him. He wants to talk to you. You got the clear. Go ahead. And he'll tell you exactly what he wants to share. So, yeah, people may ask, oh, Brad, what does Adronis think about this? Adronis just says, just talk to Nefertitus. Let him speak to you in that way. He's reaching out in a hand of invitation here. And just talk to him, and I did. And it feels really good to have that conversation with him. So I will be doing more videos with Nefertitus down the road. He is open to questions and answers. Okay, so you are able to ask him questions as well too, and see what responses can come together. So I will definitely do the next Reality Whisperer webcast will be with Nefertitus. So that'll be next week, next Tuesday, and we will bring Nefertitus in and see what information he has to share with all of us. Okay. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in, and I will speak to you again in another perspective of the now. Check out the website, realitywhisperer.com. Namaste, take care, and may it be well with you. Goodbye.